Welcome. You know, some phrases, they just seem to carry the weight of history inside them. Today, we're going to explore one of those from ancient China. It's really a four-character story about the incredible strength it takes to just never give up.
Here it is on your screen. The idiom is Bai Zhe Bu Nao. Let's try saying it together nice and slow. Bai Zhe Bu Nao. It's kind of wild to think that these characters were first written down in a tribute more than 2,000 years ago, way back in the Han Dynasty.
So let's take a closer look. Let's see what each of these characters is whispering to us one by one.
The first character here is Bai, and it's pronounced Bai. Now, it means 100, but really it's meant to give you a sense of countless or many, just a huge number of trials.
Right after that, we have Zhe, pronounced Zhe. This one gives us the feeling of being bent, of folding under a lot of pressure, or maybe even breaking. And then we get Bu, or Bu, a very simple but really powerful knot.
And finally, the last character is Nao, pronounced Nao. This one means to submit, to give in, or to yield when things get tough.
So when you put all of that together, it paints this picture of just profound resilience. It's literally 100 breaks, but no yielding. It's all about a will that is just so strong it can endure endless setbacks without ever truly breaking.
You know, every idiom has a story, and for this one, we need to travel all the way back to the Eastern Han Dynasty. We're going to meet the man whose life really gave this phrase its meaning, an official by the name of Qiao Xuan. So who was this guy Qiao Xuan? Well, he was known for his just completely unbending integrity. He couldn't stand luxury. He hated injustice. For him, his principles, his values, they were everything. And you can really see this throughout his entire career. He was always choosing justice over getting ahead for himself. He took on these incredibly powerful figures without a second thought. And in the end, he actually chose to resign rather than work for an emperor who would just let corruption slide.
But the biggest test of his principles, it didn't happen in the emperor's court. It happened at his own home. The scene shifts now to this absolutely terrible moment. Robbers have kidnapped his 10-year-old son, and they're holding him for ransom.
So soldiers have surrounded the house, but they're hesitating. They're afraid they'll harm the boy. And Qiao Xuan, with what must have been just the heaviest heart imaginable, shouts these words. He insists that the law cannot bend for criminals, that a principle is a principle, even if it costs him his own son.
He urged them to attack, and in the fight that followed, his son was tragically killed, right alongside the kidnappers.
And it was that moment, that profound, almost unimaginable moment of integrity, that later inspired a scholar named Cai Yong to write this tribute. He described a man who endured the ultimate break, the ultimate loss, but whose spirit just would not yield. And from that tribute, this idiom was born.
This story, it's ancient, but it carries a weight that, wow, you can still really feel today.
Joshua's story. It really makes us look inward, doesn't it? It makes us think about our own convictions. It asks that question, what is it that gives a person that kind of strength when they're faced with an impossible choice? What principles do we have that we're just not willing to bend?
It connects the story to this really universal human experience, right? That struggle to stay true to ourselves, especially when it hurts. It's just a reminder that people have been facing these kinds of moments, testing their own convictions for thousands and thousands of years.
So today, you might use this idiom to talk about someone with that exact same kind of tenacious spirit. Maybe it's a student finishing a really tough degree, or an artist just working and working to perfect their craft, or an entrepreneur trying to build something new against all the odds. It's about that unyielding will to see something through, no matter how many times you get knocked down.
Learn Chinese one story at a time.